Alright guys, what's going on? So we're here in the Midwest and a hunter just shot this beautiful 8-point this morning. So I am going to give you guys a how to skin your animal, whether it be a deer, mule deer, elk. All those kind of animals are just about the same, but I'm going to teach you guys how to skin the head for packing, easiness to get home, and field prep just for your skin so you don't have hair slippage on your trophy, because that's the worst thing that could happen. You get home, your hair starts to slip on your deer, you're done. Now your taxidermist has to find you another cape. It's not your cape. So this is very important, especially when traveling and especially when flying. How to do this is a #1 in my book. More important than even just harvesting the animal, because we always want to take care of what we shoot and make sure it gets home okay so we can put it on the wall and take care of the meat and all that stuff. So first off, I use a Havalon knife. It's a little razor, interchangeable blades. So once it gets dull, you can kind of just change the blade out. So what I do is, this animal's already caped from earlier. We caped him out. So what you do is cape him all the way down to the base, almost to the ears if you can. Then cut it off there. And what I do is, right where I finished, I'll make an incision there. And I'll come all the way up. And the reason you go from the bottom up is so you don't split the hairs. Because if you split the hairs, the taxidermist, he's not going to be able to put it back together. Then you get that real bad sew mark. So now what I do is I do a Y. I go to one antler burr to the other. Again, all the way from the bottom. So you can see how I'm splitting it there. I split him all the way to his burr of his antler. So you go all the way like that. You split it open. Now from this side, we're going to make another cut this way, and that's what will form that Y. So you go up. This. All the way to that burr. So if you guys can see there, there's the Y right there that we made to each burr. So now what you do, make sure it's cut all the way up. So now we start skinning back. Skin back. Now this ear cartilage is tricky, but all you do is you just cut straight down that ear cartilage. Once you guys do it once, it's really easy. Now for the scalp, I kinda like to go in it like this and get as far as I can with that blade. And then you get a flathead screwdriver or something like it. You put it in there and you just lift up. See how it lifts off that burr? So that makes life easy. So now when that taxidermist goes to put it back on the mount, you guys can see how it just wraps and looks like it never even came off. So less work for him, and it makes your mount look better. Now back to here. We come like this. We pull away from that burr. There's that ear cartilage we just cut through. Cut through that. So right now there's really not too many scary parts where you kind of have to be scared about. I'll kind of show you guys what that is. So now with the screwdriver, you go around to this side and you pull up. And then you just work your way all around. It's better not to cut. So if you can just pull it off that burr, it's so much better. Because if you start cutting, sometimes you'll leave the hair on that burr. And it's not the biggest deal in the world. You really don't see that. But, you know, it definitely looks a lot cleaner and a lot less work for the taxidermist. And just makes your mount at the end of the day look 10 times better. And like I said, you guys will see now when we're done, it packs up to a little itty bitty ball that you could take on the airplane with you if frozen. Just around here. Pull that away. You guys will see it. It packs into a little ball. So when traveling, you don't have to worry about keeping your cape in a cooler and water getting to it. Then when the water gets to it, then your hair starts to slip and there goes your trophy. So you lift up, go away from that burr. Cut right there. Boom. So now that that's done, we just cut through the cartilage again. Flip it forward. And now, same thing. You start going back on it. Going back. So little by little, you start working it. That's it. Kind of what I do is I'll just do this just to get it off that jawline. Now once it's off that jawline, kind of really makes life easy. So here's one of the tricky parts, guys. So we come up here with this head. Now when you get to the eye, you guys see that eye? What I do is I'll stick my finger in it and I kind of start getting closer to it. So right here, I don't know if you guys can see my finger or not. There's my finger right there moving. So there's my finger. You go under the finger, and you at the whole time you're pulling up. So the reason you're pulling up now is so you don't take any of that eyelid or eyelash. So right here, okay, now let me show you guys something else. Right here in the front, there's a gland. See that eye gland they have right there? See how deep that pocket is? Look how deep my knife goes in it. How deep that is? So it's important now that you get your knife in there and you scoop that out. And the reason you want to scoop that out is if you don't scoop it, you'll actually cut a hole. And if you cut a hole in that, it makes it really hard for that taxidermist to fix it. And sometimes, if he doesn't do it right, it'll actually end up pulling apart later in the future in your mount. And none of us want that. So you guys see, there's that hole. And I got it out, no hole, no nothing. So now, we've done as far as we can on this side. So now we're going to flip it over here. And now I'll kind of face you guys so you guys can see it. There's the eye. So I'll kind of get this back a little bit for us. Get this back a little bit here. Alright, so finger in the eye. You guys can see my finger. I lift up. I go like that. And I'm pulling the whole time, I'm pulling that eye away. Because the last thing we want to do is, like I said, you don't want to cut that outside of that eye, that black ring. Alright, so now there's that gland again. So now we're at the gland. So it's right there. So I'm going to push that back, and what you do is you dig your knife in and you scoop. You scoop it in that hole. And that's that. That's that part. That's one of the scary ones. Now, on to the next scary one. So, now I put the skin back down. Now we're on to his face. So, the reason you really want the sharp knife is On the side here of his gums, we're gonna reach this little skinny knife all the way back in there. All the way back, and against his gum line, against his teeth, you're gonna come up. And by doing that, you follow that jaw all the way up. You guys can see that. Pull his nose. See right there, that's where his teeth are. You come up right here. That's all you're doing is following that. And you come back up with it. Now you come to this side, same thing. You put that in. You come up. Now you start pulling that nose back, because that's another thing you don't. So this is the next tricky part. There's a cartilage here, and that cartilage makes you think you're going to go through the skin, but you're not. So just cut right through that cartilage, nice and easy, nothing heavy, and start peeling it back, peeling it back. So then lift, cut through the cartilage. So you have a lot of cartilage before you get to that skin, so you don't have to worry about that. So now that this is all the way back, now I can kind of show you guys a little bit better how that. Okay, so there's that gum line right there where it meets that jaw. So what you do is you go in, and all you do is you come up, follow that gum line, and come up, follow that gum line all the way. Pull that forward. Same thing on this side. You'll be amazed how many places you think you'll go and book and go to hunt, and they just don't know how to do this. And when it comes to getting your cape home, well, you're kind of out of luck, or you got to pay a taxidermist there, and sometimes to ship your animal home costs more than the mount did. All right, so now that's all done. Flip it back over. Final process. We go like this, and all you do is you just keep tubing it out. Keep tubing it out, keep tubing it out. So, just about done. Back over here. Like I said, all we're doing is just completely going around him. This side. All the way up. This is easy. This you just keep your knife close to that bone. At all times, just keep your knife close to that bone. Can't go wrong. Point it down, not at the skin. Point it at the bone. And there it is, guys. There's your whole face done. Now, the cool part about this is get this cape, and what I like to do is I won't roll. A lot of people will kind of roll the head back into the cape, but what happens is when the taxidermist goes to thaw it out, since the head is in that cape, it's the last thing to thaw, so it's been wet the longest, so the hair will slip. So what I do is I'll go from the back, because this is all extra skin anyway. So I'll go from the back, and I'll go forward. Tuck the ears like this. And then go like this. Done deal. Done. Now, you went from a whole entire deer head to this little itty bitty ball that's watertight now because it's in a bag. You don't have to worry about the hair slipping. It's easy to ship, easy to maintain. And for those guys who don't know, the taxidermist does not use your skull. So what you do is you go ahead and you take a sawzall or a saw, you cut here in an angle, and then you cut straight down right there. The horns will come off, and all you need to do is keep your horns and your cape, and that's all you need. So I hope that helps you guys out on your next adventure out in the outdoors. I know it's helped me a bunch as a hunter and as an outdoorsman to always take care of my stuff and make sure I can get it home and make it looking good on the wall. So thank you very much for sticking with us. Stay extreme. We're gonna get back in the woods and see if we can put a big boy down.